Hey guys, what's up, Alex here. Welcome to another video. Today we're going to be doing a difficulty comparison on F1 2018. So this is something I get requested a lot to do every single year, and I think it's a really interesting test to do. So the way I'm doing this test this year is we're doing the first lap of the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix and seeing how many positions we can gain. We're in the Williams, Sergei Sorokin, so we're normally starting last or in the bottom 3 or 4 positions. So I'm going to drop to 20th place before the first corner, then try and make up as many positions as possible in the remaining of the laps. So we're starting off at 0% AI, the worst you can get in the game. So maybe if you're very new to racing games and have no idea what you're doing, you'll select 0% AI and just try. But most people who are just even a tiny bit efficient at the game will quickly get off 0% AI and start working their way up. But I wanted to see sort of how slow 0% AI really was, and it's kind of crazy how slow they are. Look at the corner here. They basically just don't accelerate, and then they're going about half throttle down the back straight here. I mean, okay, I just can't see how this can be fun in any way. I mean, I did go for a couple of bold overtakes, like that one for example, but I even let Ricciardo back through here and then go for the overtake around the outside once again, because they're so slow. I had to just sort of try and avoid an accident in a way, and luckily I did, because otherwise it was going to be a big one. But I'm trying to close down Valtteri Bottas now. This is for first place. On lap 1 we've been able to go from last to first in every single corner we're going to get before the end. Look at that, that is so easy. Even before 2 corners to go, we've got round everyone. So, even though I have front wing damage, which you may have seen early on in this one, I managed to go from last to first on 0% AI in 1 lap. So now we're going to move on to 20% AI. So of course, you're starting to move up the ranks now. I would still expect the majority of you guys to never even touch 20% AI because it is so slow. But as you can see, I didn't start in last place there, so I dropped back to last place and then decided I'm going to make up some positions here. So I've got to try and get around some of these cars who just don't seem to accelerate through the corners here. But I guess I know you're on a 20% difficulty, so I know that is part of it all. But it's quite infuriating for someone who, I know I'm not the best driver in the world, let's just say that, but I know I'm definitely not slow enough to warrant 20% AI, and yeah, trying to avoid them more than anything is the big thing here, because you can get involved in a lot of crashes in this by by not clearly thinking about what the AI might do in any sort of certain situations here. So it's obviously not quite as easy as 0% AI, but it's to that level where there's not that much of a difference to someone like me who's been playing these games for a long time. You can't really see that much of a difference between the two, and once again they go on half throttle for the first third of the straight, it feels like, and then they pick up some speed, but still it's kind of embarrassing. But at the same time, I don't expect any of you guys watching this to be ever playing on 20% AI or even gone near it unless you're trying to make a video or something. So we're coming around the last couple of corners here in Abu Dhabi. So these are sometimes places I would never go for overtakes in real life, or even on a higher difficulty. I know that there's such similar things, aren't they? Real life and higher difficulty. But you know what I mean? On the difficulty I normally play, I would never go for overtakes in certain parts of the track here. But the fact that the AI is that slow, I can just sort of go for it. Like this last corner, I know I'm a pretty crazy overtaker sometimes, but I would never go for an overtake at the last corner. And up to the start-finish line, Verstappen was so slow, I made slight contact with him there, but I finished 3rd place here. So that was 3rd place on 20% AI. Now we're on 40% AI. Let's see what we can do. Back down to last place briefly once again, then trying to make up those positions. Lance Stroll crashing into this Albert of Ericsson. The car's still just a little bit all over the place in the first couple of corners. They're not really sure what they're doing. They're a bit all over the track. They're not exactly placing them how I would say is the right. And I'm having to sort of jump over the curves quite a bit to avoid the AI, because I'm used to racing against them quite well, because the AI has been vastly improved over the last couple of years to the fact where it's actually quite enjoyable racing them. And the fact that I had to jump out of the way of them in certain situations, I I did struggle with whilst doing this. I did have to record a couple of these runs on multiple occasions because of that fact. I was sort of jumping over curbs, and as he once again, like Hulkenberg, he sort of left the gap there, and then he goes and turns into the corner on me. So I decided I'm going to wait to the exit of the corner because I know once again they're not going to be very quick out of it. Funnily enough, they weren't, and we managed to get that overtaken quite quickly. Around Hulkenberg, we're into P7 now on 40% AI. Now we're getting into the big guns, the Red Bulls, the Mercs, the Ferraris. I don't know how many of these we're going to be able to pick up before the end of this lap here, because the last third of the Abu Dhabi track is very hard to overtake at, but Ricciardo, so slow out of the corner, I just sort of had to go for the overtake. On the brakes once again, I'm closing on Verstappen quite a bit, and through the, is this fourth to last corner, and then the third to last corner. Now, I'm not really sure, you don't really call this a corner, do you? I don't really know. And out to the penultimate one, I'm going to have to get a final overtake in. I carry so much more speed through there than Verstappen. I'm going to go for the move down the inside. See, that was so late to get the overtake done, but up to the start-finish line to finish P5 on the 40% difficulty. So, time to regather our thoughts now, as we're on 60% AI difficulty. Starting in last place for this one, without to lose any positions off the start, so away we go. I can't really get good starts anyway, so I'm not really doing much by giving back all the positions in some of these tests, because I struggle anyway. But nonetheless, up to turn 1, already gained a few positions. The AI still annoyingly, even up to 60% difficulty, still gives up way too many positions on the early parts, because I can, 60% I can see maybe a few of you guys watching this actually playing on, but the difficulties before this I would assume nobody's ever played on before. So 60%, I assume some of you might actually play on this difficulty level. And tell me, or in all honesty, if you do play on this difficulty level, do you find racing the AI fun? Because I feel like when they're on this difficulty level, they just sort of slow down out of the straights in a way. So you'll sort of just be in a queue, and then they'll just you can get past them on the straight, because they're just so much slower in a straight line. It doesn't seem particularly fun even on 60% difficulty racing the AI, because look, just look at that. Ocon doesn't put down the accelerator for a good 100-200 meters out of the corner, and then okay, we're side by side for quite a bit here, and he's squeezing me, so I try and avoid contact here, but I'm going to go around the outside of Ocon. There was a little bit of contact there, but Ocon pushed me a little bit on the entrance of the corner, so I'm like, I'm not going to take this on the exit. I'm just going to let him know I'm there. So I'm P9 now. We finished P5 on 40% difficulty. Are we going to be able to make up any more positions? As I said, the final couple of corners are very tricky to overtake here, so if we get maybe one position, that would be good. Around the outside of Sergio Perez, all the way around the outside of Sergio Perez, using a bit of the extra track on the outside. Lucky you can do that at Abu Dhabi, but there we are, around the outside and up to P8 by the end of that one. Now we're on to a harder difficulty of 80%, which I assume a lot of you guys may have started on somewhere around this level when you first started playing Formula 1 games. Myself, I was about the same. I nowadays play around 95%, so when we do the next jump up to 100%, you'll see me actually challenging a little bit more. But once again, it does infuriate me a little bit that you can overtake basically half the field on the first half of lap 1 if you really just go for overtakes. Now, that's not a critique at I guess it maybe is even a bit of a critique at Codemasters, because I've raced other games, and yes, whilst on Project Cars it's a different game and the AI aren't fantastic, they at least don't give you up half the grid in the first half of the first lap, and that does still disappoint me to this day that the AI don't fight a bit harder in the first corner. They're all just very slow, and even not the first corner, it's the whole of the first lap really. They still struggle to defend positions. They all seem to follow the leader in a way, and just see how it goes. And you can see a bit of a mess in front actually. I think Hamilton's going side by side with someone, so this is actually giving me a couple of free positions which I probably wouldn't have got if it was going naturally. So it's just the way it goes, unfortunately. This test is not going to be 100% foolproof, but it's a good enough idea about how many positions you can gain. So last couple of corners once again. Is there going to be the opportunity for me to go past Magnussen? Take enough speed through this penultimate corner into the last corner. Once again, going for the late move down the inside. Surely the AI should be able to defend from that. So P9 on 80% difficulty. So now we're into the penultimate difficulty level, which is 100% difficulty level. So this is just slightly higher than I normally race at myself. For some reason I start really high up, and I'll just give back those positions and then go for the overtakes once again as soon as we get to turn 1. So already a couple of positions gained there, back to that P16. So ooh, a bit wide over the curbs on the outside. When I got to this difficulty level, I was definitely like, this is where I'm going to struggle a little bit more. But still, you see a lot of the time I'm gaining 7-8 positions on these opening 5-6 corners in Abu Dhabi, which does disappoint me. It does disappoint me that it is so easy to just go for an overtake like that, and it's not fun particularly overtaking cars like that. But to try and do this test, I needed to just go for the overtakes as best as possible, as quickly as possible. So we're halfway through this first lap period. You can see I'm struggling to keep up the AI now, because they are on a slightly higher difficulty level than I'd normally race at. Okay, I've done a bit of practice now. I've done many laps of this first lap of Abu Dhabi, but when the AI are battling, it definitely helps me out, close up a bit of time here. You can see Van Dorn's getting artificially held up here by Perez and Hulkenberg, going side by side through every corner, which you'd assume they wouldn't normally do. So let's try and get down the inside of Van Dorn into here. Like, I would not normally go for an overtake there, and then Hulkenberg left enough of the door open that I could even go for it there. So around the outside of Hulkenberg, and that's up to P11, and that's not really to be expected. So last couple of corners here, I feel like maybe I could make the jump up to 100% AI soon. I'm going to stay around 95%, but for now I always had that in the back of my mind that I could possibly jump up to 100%. But one place I'm never going to get to jump up to is 110%, which is where this test is right now. So we got up to P11 on 100%, and now on 110%, how far are we going to be able to get up? So like I've been saying before, we can normally gain 6 or 7 positions on these opening corners, but I think for the first time in this test so far, I've exited turn 1 in 20th place because the AI are being much more competitive. So let's see if we get on the inside Hartley here, and Ericsson's definitely trying to defend the inside line more, and he's definitely being more aggressive because I'm still going side by side with him, still side by side now, and dive down the inside of 3 cars, which, I don't know, I feel like you shouldn't really be able to do on 110% AI, but they were going side by side, so we're literally 3 wide through that corner, and I still managed to do it. So it's a little bit frustrating, but at the same time, I'm probably never going to race on 110% AI, so that's always going to be something that doesn't really bother me, I guess. And there's a bit of drama in front. I saw a McLaren get very sideways. So this is the hardest difficulty in the game right now. I'm not sure whether they'll try and push more higher difficulty levels in the future, but the slider level is definitely something good that's been in the most recent F1 games. Trying to go side by side with Gasly, trying to do a move that I did in the past, but it's just not really feasible at this point. Grosjean and Sainz going side by side in front, slowing up Gasly, so this could give me an opportunity to go for an overtake, possibly through here. Once again, I don't know whether, if I hadn't done this test enough times, I haven't done enough lap ones of Abu Dhabi, I might have not gone for that overtake. But I think thanks to Sainz and Grosjean and co holding up Gasly, I managed to go for that overtake here. So 110% AI, even I, someone that doesn't race on this higher difficulty level, managed to get up to P14 on this first lap of the race. So let's have a look at these test results then. So the comparison, 0% AI, I've got up to P1, 20% AI up to P3, 40% P5, 60% P8, 80% P9, 100% P11, 110% P14. So pretty steady progress as I go up the difficulty levels, the harder it is for me to overtake. That's pretty easy to tell, but I think the biggest thing really is how much the AI race you. I definitely noticed on 110 and 100% even as well, that the AI definitely defend their positions a lot more, and when you're around 60% or lower, the AI struggle to have a good race with you. So I would definitely advise everyone, I know I'm not a racing god myself, but I would definitely advise people to maybe push the difficulty level a bit higher than they really would normally race, and then try and get a bit better from it. Of course, that's coming from me, someone who only races on like 95% themselves, but I think I did only race on like 85% a couple of years ago, but I did try and push myself. I got the wheel, all that sort of stuff really helped me, and tried to improve a little bit at least. So there's the difficulty comparison F1 2018. I'm going to hope to get a career mode video up later today. I can't exactly 100% promise it, but I'm going to try my best. And also, a Pascal Wehrlein interview should be going up tomorrow, which I'm excited for. So thanks for watching. I'll see you guys all around soon. It's been Alex, and I'm out of here. Goodbye. Thank you for watching this video. Hopefully you did enjoy it. Please remember to drop a like on the video if you did enjoy it. Remember to subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and keep up to date on social media. It's @AlexZiafro on Instagram and Twitter. So be sure to tune into those social channels and YouTube over the next couple of days, because more content is coming. Thanks for watching. It's been Alex.